What if the first words of the greatest sermon ever preached weren't for the strong, the religious, the ones who have it all together, but for the broken, the empty, the ones who woke up this morning knowing their life is a lie? That day on the hillside, that's exactly who showed up. Welcome to Heart of His Word, the channel where we don't just read the Bible, we let the living voice of King Jesus jump off the page and take over our lives. Today we're stepping onto a dusty Galilean hillside, Matthew chapters 5, 6, and 7, the Sermon on the Mount. Dust caked on cracked feet. Roman soldiers on the ridge, spears catching the sun like a warning. Empty nets still stank of another night with nothing. Widows clutching shawls that used to belong to dead husbands. Kids burning with fever. Men who hadn't eaten since yesterday, they came looking for a conqueror. They got a carpenter who sat down and opened his mouth, and when he did, the air went still. There are moments in Scripture where heaven leans in, not with thunder or fire, but with a whisper that rearranges the soul. This was one of those moments. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. One sentence. And every religious ladder you've been climbing just got kicked over. Jesus doesn't start with the confident, the accomplished, the ones posting their quiet times. He starts with the spiritually bankrupt. You know that moment, 2 a.m., lights off, phone dead, and you finally admit you have nothing left to give God. No polish. No performance. Just the raw confession, I'm broke inside. That's the doorway. As long as you're still clinging to your own righteousness, your discipline, your reputation, you're too rich to enter. But the second your hands are empty and your pride is on the floor, the kingdom is already yours. The kingdom isn't earned by the spiritually rich. It's inherited by spiritual beggars who finally stop pretending. Blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted. You numb it every day, scrolling, porn, drink, noise, whatever kills the ache for 5 minutes. But Jesus walks straight into that dark room and calls your tears holy, not because pain feels good, but because real mourning is when you finally feel how far your heart has wandered. It's the sob that escapes when you thought you were over it. It's the grief over what your sin did to him on that cross, and right there, in the wreckage, the Comforter shows up. Not with platitudes. With himself. God is never closer than when you stop running from the crack in your soul. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. The world screams meek is weak. Jesus says meek is strength that bowed the knee. It's the man who could crush his enemy with one text and chooses silence. It's the woman who could climb by stepping on people and refuses. Meekness isn't spineless. It's a lion surrendered. The earth isn't inherited by the loud and the ruthless. It's inherited by the quiet ones who handed the leash to Jesus. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they shall be filled. Not the ones who've arrived. The ones who wake up starving. You see the evil in the world. You feel the rage at what sin has stolen. That fire in your gut? That's the Spirit groaning. Stay hungry. Satisfied people get crumbs. Starving people get the feast. You'll never be hungrier than the moment right before he fills you with everything you've been dying for. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall be shown mercy. You've been stabbed in the back. Lied to. Cheated on. The old you wants revenge. The new you absorbs the blade and still whispers I forgive you. Because you know how much mercy was poured out for you while you were still his enemy. The merciless will stand begging one day and hear silence. The merciful will drown in it forever. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. Not perfect. Pure, one direction. No double life. No secret folders. No hidden accounts. The man who looks at a woman to lust is already split in two. The man who looks at Jesus and says search me is being made whole. Divided heart see darkness. Single heart see God, and once you've seen him, nothing else satisfies. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called sons of God. Not peacekeepers who ghost conflict. Peacemakers who walk into the fire and pull people out alive. They look like the friend who calls you out instead of canceling you. They look like Jesus bleeding out to end the war between you and the Father. Peacemakers don't avoid the fight. They finish it, and God calls them family. Blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. when they hate you, cancel you, mock you, block you, because you look like Jesus, rejoice, you're not losing the world. You're gaining the kingdom, and when they insult you and lie about you because of him, jump for joy. Great is your reward in heaven, the world crucified the King. It will hate his friends too. Count it pure joy, 8 short lines. And the entire value system of planet Earth just got flipped upside down. This isn't a cute list of suggestions. This is the character of every citizen of the kingdom, and Jesus just looked at a crowd of broken people. People just like you, and said, "This is who I bless." So where are you right now, poor in spirit? Mourning? Meek? Starving? Merciful? Pure? Making peace? Taking heat for my name? Good. You're exactly who I came for. 8 short lines just flipped the entire value system of planet Earth upside down. The crowd is still reeling. Jaws on the ground. They came for a war cry against Rome and got told the blessed ones are the broke, the mourning, the persecuted, and Jesus doesn't give them time to catch their breath. He looks straight at the same wrecked people and says 2 words that should stop your heart: you are, not you should be. Not try harder and maybe one day. You are the salt of the earth. Look around at this rotting, dying, stinking world. Corruption in every headline. Lust in every feed. Lies in every mouth, and Jesus says to the spiritually bankrupt, the mourning, the persecuted, you are what keeps this place from total collapse. Salt stings when it hits the wound. Salt preserves meat from maggots. Salt makes you thirsty. If nobody's ever offended by your holiness, if culture isn't slowing its decay because you're in the room, if nobody's throat is burning for the water you found, you've lost your saltiness, and Jesus doesn't mince words. Unsalty salt gets thrown out and trampled underfoot. You were saved to sting, to preserve, to create thirst. Anything less, and you're useless to the kingdom. You are the light of the world. Again, you are, a city set on a hill cannot be hidden. People don't light a lamp and shove it under a basket, they put it on a stand and it gives light to the whole house. Stop dimming yourself so the dark feels comfortable. Stop hiding your scars so Christians won't judge you. Your broken places are where the light leaks out strongest. In the same way, let your light shine before others, so they see your good works and glorify your Father in heaven. Not so they applaud you. So they see Jesus in the middle of your mess and run to him. Covered light warms nobody. Exposed light leads lost people home. The crowd is still trying to process blessed or the persecuted, and now Jesus just called them salt and light, and before anyone can accuse him of lowering the standard, he drops the hammer. Do not think that I have come to abolish the law or the prophets. I have not come to abolish them but to fulfill them, for truly I tell you, until heaven and earth disappear. Not the smallest letter, not the least stroke of a pen, will by any means disappear from the law until everything is accomplished. The Pharisees in the crowd lean forward, smirking. Finally, something they can work with, and Jesus turns and stares them dead in the eye. Therefore anyone who sets aside one of the least of these commands and teaches others accordingly will be called least in the kingdom of heaven, but whoever practices and teaches these commands will be called great in the kingdom of heaven. You can almost hear the air leave their lungs when he finishes the sentence. For I tell you that unless your righteousness surpasses that of the Pharisees and the teachers of the law, you will certainly not enter the kingdom of heaven. Dead silence on the hillside. These men memorized Leviticus before breakfast. They tithed mint and cumin. They fasted twice a week for show, and Jesus just told the fishermen, the tax collectors, the prostitutes, you have to be more righteous than them or you're out. The disciples are panicking inside. Peter's probably thinking, we're done. But Jesus isn't finished wrecking everything. He's not raising the bar so high nobody can reach it. He's about to show that the bar was always the heart. The Pharisees cleaned the outside of the cup and left the inside crawling with greed and self-indulgence. They looked righteous. They were dead, and Jesus is saying real righteousness isn't about looking better than the religious. It's about being alive from the inside out. He's not done with the law. He's about to go deeper than the law ever dreamed, and what he's about to say in the next breath will expose every single one of us. 6 times Jesus stands on that hillside and drops the same wrecking ball. You have heard that it was said, But I say to you, 6 times he takes the commandments everybody thought they were keeping and drags them straight into the heart, and by the time he's done, nobody on that hill feels righteous anymore. You have heard that it was said to the people long ago, you shall not murder, and whoever murders will be liable to judgment. But I say to you that everyone who is angry with his brother will be liable to judgment. You never pulled a trigger. You never swung a knife. But you've murdered 1,000 times in your heart, every time you cursed someone under your breath. Every time you rehearsed that conversation where you destroyed them. Every time you hated, Jesus says that's murder. Same hell. Same judgment. The commandment was never just about the act. It was always about the heart that wants the act. You have heard that it was said, you shall not commit adultery. But I say to you that everyone who looks at a woman with lustful intent has already committed adultery with her in his heart. 1 look. 1 second too long. 1 fantasy you let play out behind your eyes, you're already guilty. You can keep your body pure and still be an adulterer every single day. If your eye causes you to sin, tear it out. If your hand causes you to sin, cut it off. Better to walk into heaven missing pieces than to walk into hell whole. He's not exaggerating. He's exposing how serious the disease is. It was also said, whoever divorces his wife, let him give her a certificate of divorce. But I say to you that everyone who divorces his wife, except on the ground of sexual immorality, makes her commit adultery, and whoever marries a divorced woman commits adultery. You thought a piece of paper made it clean. Jesus says the covenant was written in blood, not ink. Again you have heard that it was said to the people long ago, you shall not swear falsely, but shall perform to the Lord what you have sworn. But I say to you, do not take an oath at all, let your yes be yes and your no be no. Anything more comes from the evil one. Because the man who needs oaths is already a liar looking for loopholes. You have heard that it was said, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. But I say to you, do not resist the one who is evil. If anyone slaps you on the right cheek, turn to him the other also. If anyone forces you to go 1 mile, go with him 2. The Romans on the ridge just heard their legal right to humiliate Jews get torched, and Jesus isn't done. Give to the one who begs from you, and do not refuse the one who would borrow from you, the one that ends every excuse you've ever had. You have heard that it was said, you shall love your neighbor and hate your enemy. But I say to you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you. Love the one who raped your peace. Pray for the one who destroyed your name. Bless the one still swinging, so that you may be sons of your Father who is in heaven. He makes his sun rise on the evil and on the good. He sends rain on the just and on the unjust. If you only love the ones who love you back, what reward do you have? Even tax collectors do that. If you only greet your own brothers, what are you doing more than others? Even Gentiles do that. You therefore must be perfect, as your heavenly Father is perfect. Silence on the hillside. The Pharisees who were nodding at not one jot or tittle just got gut punched. The disciples who thought they were safe because they never killed anyone just got exposed. The crowd that came for a revolution just heard the real revolution starts in the heart nobody sees. Jesus didn't come to make bad men good. He came to make dead men alive, and dead men don't need better rules. They need a new heart. 6 times he said you have heard. But I say. 6 times he proved the law was never the problem. Your heart was, and the only righteousness that surpasses the Pharisees isn't trying harder. It's dying completely and letting him live in you. Jesus just ripped the mask off every heart on that hillside. 6 times he exposed the gap between what we do and what we are, and now the religious crowd is squirming, because they're the best at looking holy. So Jesus turns the knife. Beware of practicing your righteousness before other people in order to be seen by them, for then you will have no reward from your Father who is in heaven. 3 times he's about to say the exact same thing. 3 times he's about to gut religious performance. First, giving. When you give to the needy, do not sound a trumpet before you like the hypocrites do in the synagogues and in the streets so they may be praised by others. You know the type. Posts the screenshot of the donation. Makes sure everyone sees the envelope going in the plate. Jesus says they already got their reward, the applause of men. That's it. Account closed. But when you give, do not let your left hand know what your right hand is doing, so that your giving may be in secret, and your Father who sees in secret will reward you. Second, prayer. And when you pray, do not be like the hypocrites, for they love to stand in the synagogues and on the street corners to be seen by others. They already got their reward, the nod, the respect, the follower count. But when you pray, go into your room, shut the door, and pray to your Father who is in secret. And your Father who sees in secret will reward you. Then he exposes the pagan version, long, empty, repetitive words thinking they'll be heard for their many words. Don't be like them. Your Father knows what you need before you ask, and then he gives them the prayer that still wrecks people 2,000 years later. Pray then like this: Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name, not my Father. Our. Even the disciple who will betray him tonight is included. Your kingdom come, your will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. The first half isn't about us. It's about him, his name, his kingdom, his will. Only then, give us this day our daily bread, not tomorrow's. Not next week's. Today's, and forgive us our debts, as we also have forgiven our debtors. You want forgiveness? Look at how fast you forgive, and lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. That's it. No performance. No big words. Just a child talking to a father in the dark. Third, fasting. And when you fast, do not look gloomy like the hypocrites, for they disfigure their faces so their fasting may be seen by others. They already got their reward, the pity, the praise, the wow, you're so spiritual. But when you fast, anoint your head and wash your face, so that your fasting may not be seen by others but by your Father who is in secret, and your Father who sees in secret will reward you. 3 times, giving, praying, fasting. 3 times, secret. 3 times, your Father who sees in secret will reward you. Instagram saints get likes. Closet saints get God. The Pharisees just got publicly executed. The disciples just got shown the only way that actually works, and right now Jesus is staring through the screen at you. Where do you do your real worship? In the comments section or in the dark room with the door shut, because the reward you're chasing is the reward you're going to get. Secret devotion gets heaven. Public performance gets earth, and earth is burning. Jesus just finished gutting every form of religious show. Closet saints get heaven. Instagram saints get earth, and now he goes straight for the 3 things you guard with your life, your money, your anxiety, and your mouth. Do not lay up for yourselves treasures on earth, where moth and rust destroy and where thieves break in and steal. Everything you're killing yourself to protect can be gone by morning. Market crash. Lawsuit. Diagnosis. 1 phone call, but lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust destroys and where thieves do not break in and steal. For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. Look at your bank app. Look at your calendar. Look at what makes you panic when it's threatened. That's your real God. The eye is the lamp of the body. If your eye is healthy, your whole body will be full of light. But if your eye is bad, your whole body will be full of darkness. Money isn't neutral. It's a lens. It either fills you with light or drowns you in darkness. No one can serve 2 masters. You will hate the one and love the other, or be devoted to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve God and money. Your wallet is a mirror. It shows who you actually worship, and right now Jesus is asking the one question you don't want to answer: who's really on the throne? Therefore I tell you, do not be anxious about your life. You woke up anxious again. Bills. Kids. Health. Future. Reputation. Jesus says stop, look at the birds of the air. They don't sow, reap, or gather into barns, and your Father feeds them. Look at the lilies of the field. They don't toil or spin, yet Solomon in all his glory wasn't dressed like one of these. Are you not of more value than they? Worry is practical atheism. It's saying with your heart, God can't, while saying with your mouth, God can. Seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be added to you. Everything you're strangling yourself to hold on to, he's already holding it for you. But only kingdom first people ever find out, and then he turns to the plank in your eye. Judge not, that you be not judged. You're scrolling, diagnosing everyone's heart, canceling, exposing, whispering, with the measure you use it will be measured back to you. Why do you see the speck in your brother's eye, but do not notice the plank in your own? First take the log out of your own eye, and then you will see clearly to take the speck out of your brother's. You want to help someone? Start by letting Jesus gouge the forest out of your own vision. Do not give dogs what is holy, and do not throw your pearls before pigs. Not everyone gets access to your heart. Not everyone deserves the sacred things God gave you. Discernment isn't judgment. It's wisdom. Jesus just hit your wallet, your worry, and your words in less than 20 verses, your treasure, your trust, your tongue, and every single one of them is bleeding right now, because the kingdom isn't about managing these things better. It's about surrendering them completely. Jesus has wrecked every religious mask, every bank account, every anxious heart, every judging tongue, and now he ends the greatest sermon ever preached with 4 final bombs that decide where you spend eternity. Ask, and it will be given to you. Seek, and you will find. Knock, and it will be opened to you. This isn't polite prayer. This is violent, persistent, shameless faith, the widow pounding on the judge's door at midnight, the friend beating on the gate for bread. Ask like your life depends on it, because it does. Seek like the kingdom is hidden treasure worth selling everything for. Knock like hell is on the other side of that door. Passive Christians stay stuck. Violent ones take the kingdom by force. Second bomb, enter by the narrow gate, for the gate is wide and the way is easy that leads to destruction, and those who enter by it are many. Look around. Crowds marching straight to hell thinking they're free. The narrow gate is small for one reason: you can't bring your pride, your sin, your excuses, your reputation. There's a sign over it that says die here. Few find it, because few are willing to lose their life to save it. Beware of false prophets who come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly are ravenous wolves. They quote scripture. They've got the lighting, the worship set, the follower count. You will recognize them by their fruits. Does their life look like Jesus or like the culture wearing a cross necklace? Smooth words don't mean truth. Fruit does. The one that silences the whole hillside. Not everyone who says to me, Lord, Lord, will enter the kingdom of heaven, but the one who does the will of my Father who is in heaven. On that day many will say to me, Lord, Lord, did we not prophesy in your name, cast out demons in your name, and do many mighty works in your name? And Jesus will look them in the eye and say, I never knew you. Depart from me, you workers of lawlessness. Resumes full of miracles. Channels full of videos. Conferences full of shouting. None of it matters if he doesn't know you. Intimacy, not impact. And then the final hammer. Everyone who hears these words of mine and does them, will be like a wise man who built his house on the rock. The rain fell, the floods came, the winds blew and beat on that house, but it did not fall, because it had been founded on the rock. And everyone who hears these words of mine and does not do them, will be like a foolish man who built his house on the sand. The storm hit the same rain, same wind, same flood, and great was the fall of it. Storms don't make or break you. They reveal what you were built on. And when Jesus finished these sayings, the crowds were astonished at his teaching, for he was teaching them as one who had authority, and not as their scribes. 2,000 years later the same words are burning through the screen right now. The storm is coming. Maybe it's already here. Your marriage, your health, your kids, your secrets, death itself. What did you build on? Hearing this sermon won't save you. Doing it will. Right now heaven is leaning in again. The same whisper that rearranged souls on that hillside is whispering to you, choose. Wide gate or narrow? Sand or rock? Known by him or I never knew you. There is no middle. This is heart of his word, where we refuse to let the Bible stay on the page. If this cut you open and put you back together, hit that subscribe button right now, because every week we're going deeper into the books and teachings that wreck lives in the best way. We've got Jude, Colossians, Romans, the book of Daniels, and more, the hard prophecies, the letters that burn, everything coming with the same fire you just felt. Comment the verse or line that exposed you most today. See you in the next one. The word isn't done with you yet.